Hello, my name is Frank Fitzpatrick and I'm running for Ashland City Commissioner. Let me take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself. Let me start with my parents because they're a big part of who I am today. My parents came to the big city of Ashland in the mid-50s. They brought my older brothers and sister with them, which were young at the time, to the big city of Ashland from Buskirk, Kentucky to better their lives. They settled on Carter Avenue right across from Hinton Hatchery. That's where I was raised. My dad spent 40 years at Hinton Hatchery, helped build that business up. Finally retired from there in the early 90s. And what my dad taught me was hard work. Don't be afraid of work. Don't be afraid of getting your hands dirty. That he passed on to all of his kids. My mom worked there also. She vaccinated the baby chickens for years, and every now and again she'd vaccinate herself, but I don't think she did it on purpose. Back to myself, in my teen years, I passed papers in the neighborhood, cut grass, done just about anything for the neighborhood that people would ask me to. Got into a lot of things. When I graduated high school, I joined the National Guard, spent 6 years with the 201st on Lexington Avenue. During that same time, I started working full-time at Hinton Hatchery, and I worked there till I was in my mid-20s, 24, 25 years old. And about that time, I decided I wanted to see the country, so I drove a truck for a while. Man, I got to see a lot of pretty country, different states, different cities, but there's nothing like coming home. I mean, if you haven't experienced it, it's real hard to explain the pride and the swelling when you come in, you cross the bridge, or you come in from I-64. The pride of being from this area here. This area has the nicest people in the United States, in my opinion. The place I currently work at now, I hear people talk about how nice the people here are. Anyway, about 1999, I got on at Air Products. And after spending 17 years there, I was a victim of downsizing. My position as mechanical maintenance tech was eliminated. And that was a hard time. I mean, that was rough, not knowing where the income was going to come from. The health care was gone. I mean, I've lived what a lot of people in this area has gone through with the closing of AK, now Bellefonte. I mean, it's downright terrible, and that's something that really needs to be worked on. Is trying to get the business back into Ashland, get the population built up. I was unemployed for close to half a year, and that's when I met Perry and Susan Madden. They own the Henry Clay, and they hired me to do the maintenance work at the Henry Clay. And I tell you what, they're awesome people to work for. They're some of the nicest people in this area. And the added benefit to that was myself and Foy Allen are getting to put a lot of effort into the renovation of the inside of that building and bringing it back to as close to original as we possibly can. And I tell you what, we're having a good time with it. For the past 25 years, my wife and I have systematically bought and renovated homes all throughout the tri-state area. Some of the homes that we've bought and renovated had sat empty for well over 5 years. It's something that me and her enjoy. We take something from nothing that's been neglected for a long time and turn around and just make it beautiful again. And I tell you what, the neighbors in the neighborhoods where we have done that, they're real appreciative of it. Some of my volunteer efforts, most of them are just like normal everyday people. My wife and I currently teach Sunday school at the Wesleyan Heights Church up on Cellar Street. We've gotten involved in the Repair Affair, tried to pursue helping Habitat for Humanity. I volunteered mostly through school functions, been chaperones for, Field trips, yeah, field trips. I've went with the church youth group on some field trips, and that one's hard. As far as clubs go, about the only club I've ever been a member of was the motorcycle club that Stafford's had years ago, and we had fun with that. Got to ride in parade in Flatwoods. Some of the issues I would like to stress, and I would really love to take this time to appeal to people out here. Adoption is awesome. If you're not too old, you're not too poor, you're not too busy to let some of these kids into your family. It is, it's another thing that I have a hard time explaining. I mean, it's pure joy. I've got 5-year-olds at home right now. My older kids are out and on their own. They're making their way here in the area. One of them actually works in the city. I just can't express how much these institutions here that are working with the foster kids, how much good they do, but they need help. These kids need you. Please consider letting some of these kids into your home. Some other passions I've got, I'd like to talk about the renovation of all the buildings going on in downtown. The Murphy's building, the old Stecklers, which was the old Second National Bank building. The work they're doing down there is great. The older buildings in this city is the character of this city. My wife and I, for years, we would, even on a motorcycle, we'd take some back roads and visit some of the towns, the smaller towns in the cities, just to look at the buildings. Look at a lot of the older homes that may be on the main streets, and there's a lot of beauty in it, and I'm really grateful that they're putting in the effort and the money to bring those buildings back to life. Some of the effort, and I kind of alluded to it before, is the abandoned homes in town that are in certain neighborhoods. I don't have all the answers, but there should be some way that we could get together and work together that would be fair to everybody to get the eyesores out of the neighborhoods. It is real tough to try to take pride in your neighborhood when you might be across the street from a boarded up house, or the windows are broken out and glass laying everywhere, the grass 2 foot tall. So that is the appearance of the neighborhoods. That is kind of important to me. I try to keep my neighborhood clean. My neighbors do. But like I said, the house that we're currently living in now, it was empty for over 5 years. So it took quite a bit of cleaning up. The backyard was grown over. But yeah, I mean, there's stuff that can be done. Ashland's biggest challenge is growth. That's been the challenge for years. This city was like 35,000 when I was young. Right now, the next census is probably going to have it less than 20,000. That is a lot of people that have just fled the city. Whether it stems from majority of it's probably going to stem from the jobs not being here. There's a lot of vacant lots still all through the city here where businesses used to be. The Hinton Hatchery for years has been the Salvation Army. They're struggling. They're getting ready to close their doors from last I heard. AC Lawrence Leather is gone. Johnson's Dairy is gone. I mean, there's a bunch of buildings that's been repurposed, but there's still a lot of them that are empty. What can the government do? Do anything and everything that they can to try to allure people back into this city. You got to make it attractive, not just look good, but you got to make it attractive financially. That's going to be the biggest hurdle. A lot of the infrastructure, the water pipes are still breaking, and it's not even cold yet. That's going to be the toughest issue is trying to give the businesses that are here that are struggling some kind of a break without and still get the work done here in the city. That's going to be the big primary issue. This is my first run at public office. I've never, ever thought that I would ever do anything like this. I don't want to be a politician. But for years I've lived in this area and I've watched this town shrink. I've seen the struggles that people go through. There's a lot of people that like to sit back and throw stones at the commissioners. You throw stones, you're going to break more stuff. It's more stuff that's going to need fixed. If I sit back and do nothing, in order for me to try to do something, I got to be involved, and the best way to do it is from the inside. You can sit here and throw stones or throw feathers or whatever you want to throw at the commissioners. If you want to make a difference, you've got to get involved and go in feet first. There's a lot of ideas that could be considered out-of-the-box thinking. I think we need out-of-the-box thinking. We can't keep going down this one path. Many things have got to be tried to see what works. You can be assertive and say this is the only thing that's going to work, but until it's tried and proven true, I mean, it's got to be tried. I will tell you this: I own my work. I'm proud of my work. Anything that I do for the city, I will own it. I'm not going to push anything that I would do wrong on anybody else. I've got the shoulders. I can carry it. If I make a bad decision or a bad mistake, I'm going to own up to it. My name is Frank Fitzpatrick. Most of y'all who know me, who know my family, knows the quality of people that I come from, and knows the quality of person that I am. And I will be honest and serve with honesty, integrity, and transparency.